It is the aftermath of the bloodline collapsing here on WWE Smackdown, 23rd of June 2023. And apparently, Vince McMahon had his hands, his fingers, all over this show. That is according to the dirt sheets, that is according to Dave Meltzer, that is according to the likes of people on this YouTube by the name of JD from New York. But listen, guys, they are absolute fuds. And did I notice anything different from this SmackDown than what we've seen in recent weeks, months? No. So I don't understand what the gimmick is with just blaming McMahon for a poor show. Triple H is still running things to a large degree. Apparently, he completely changed this show, such as we had Santos Escobar versus Butch versus LA Knight. Apparently, that was supposed to be a Money in the Bank momentum match, but then McMahon changed it to LA Knight against Rey Mysterio. We also had Bailey Shotzi with Bailey's Money in the Bank spot on the line removed, and Cameron Grimes versus Baron Corbin also getting removed. But you know what? I have no problem with these matches getting removed because then you're getting LA Knight defeating Rey Mysterio. Is that not better than a triple threat job fest? Bailey spot on the line. Who cares, man? Who honestly bloody cares? So much change, McMahon, and they're trying to make out that bloody they're bad. Like, look at Ciampa. Ciampa was supposed to lose on Raw. McMahon changed it, so he buried the Miz. Is that not better than this garbage? And oh, but there's a huge negative shift in morale, man. People just need to accept that Vince McMahon is the man, and that they're just on this illusion that everything he books is garbage. And you know, how about everything they look at is garbage? But we kick off with a recap of what happened last week. Of course, the Usos delivering the super kick. The Roman Reigns, Jey Uso decided to team with his brother. The bloodline is completely split in half at this point, so that was a good wee thing. The Usos come out and basically reveal why they left the bloodline. It's a decent promo from the Usos, but the problem is with the bloodline, like, I would go as far as saying it is like it's almost must watch TV every time like they're on SmackDown, and you kind of need to like watch the clips. It is like the most intriguing things, but it kind of is getting old if you think of it. Like, if you look in the history of WWE, the best factions, they do not last decades. Like, obviously, like DX had numerous runs. I guess you could argue the same way in WO, but they do not last. It's hard to make it last years. Like, look at Evolution. Like, they lasted, you know, like 2.5 years, and even with that, Orton left. To be fair, so I mean, there's certain stuff that freshes it up. So it'll be interesting to see how they can keep this fresh. We then have Rey Mysterio taking on LA Knight, like I said earlier. And LA Knight actually defeats Rey Mysterio. And this is absolutely the right decision, having LA Knight defeat Rey Mysterio. It wasn't exactly clean, so it protects both guys. So Vince McMahon gets buried for some of these creative decisions that he's making, but personally, this is a good decision. It's a decent enough match. He then tries to throw a bit of a beat down, but then Santos Escobar comes out and scares him off. So it's weird that Rey ain't in. I mean, I guess they want to might push the new guys, the youngsters, so to speak. But would like to have seen Rey in the Money in the Bank match potentially. But here he is, losing to LA Knight. Next up, though, we have got Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler taking on Alba Fire and Alba Dawn. Dawn Fiery. I don't know what the other one's name is. Of course, unification on the line here. We've got the NXT, we've got the WWE Women's Tag Titles. You know what? It wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. There was a synchronized finish where Rousey does the armbar and then Baszler does the sleeper hold, which I thought was alright. No real issues with that. I thought it was a decent finish, but I feel like we see it one too many times these days. But I don't know. This one gets a pass for me. Then Raquel Rodriguez comes out. Here, we demand a title shot, a rematch. And they're like, Raquel, there is no we, it's only you. And then Liv Morgan's music hits. Liv Morgan has returned to Friday Night SmackDown. And I don't know what her injury was, but she's back after like a month. I don't know. I feel like that's very cheap. Almost seems like it was a nothing injury and she took it off because of what. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying you can't return from injuries like we see all the time in other sports, but Like, it was never disclosed. It was just, oh, a wee shoulder injury. Who knows, though? Who knows? We then get the Grayson Waller effect, pretty deadlier on it. This is funny. You know what? Obviously, the two best talents have been called up for NXT in the last brand split. Seeing them talk here, they are interrupted though by the Street Profits, to which the Street Profits are making fun of the way Pretty Deadly talk. And like, I think some people would view this as homophobic. Obviously, I think it's brilliant the way. Well, that's all right. Brilliant's a wee bit, jumping the gun that the Street Profits are speaking like this. But see if this was like Vince McMahon doing this, or another white guy or something, I feel like this would be getting talked about. Like, oh, that's homophobic, but because it's two black guys, it's fine from the wrestling community. It's the double standards, things like this. Like, what's the difference of pretending to put on a gay voice or, putting on like a Japanese voice? One's viewed as racist and one's viewed as, alright. But would it be alright if it was two white guys doing it? Do you see where I'm coming from? Anyway, this leads to a match, of course. We knew the Street Profits and Pretty Deadly were going to collide tonight. Pretty funny moment when not Angelo Dawkins, the other one. I can't remember the other one's name, even though he's the more relevant one. I can't remember, but he puts on Pretty Deadly's top, and he starts acting very flamboyant and happy, gay, whatever you want to call it. Then they do like the synchronized dive to the outside, but of course Angelo Dawkins is a wee bit slower because he's a bit fat, and you can see his stomach hanging out here big time, which I wasn't exactly a fan of. We then have Charlotte Flair and Lacey Evans in a match. How much has Lacey Evans' stock fell in like the past 5 years, 4 years, however long she's been on this main roster? Because remember the days like it was her and Corbin against Lynch and Rollins. Like, that's 4 years ago now. You wouldn't think it, like, but that is 4 years ago. Charlotte Flair then does the figure eight where she puts some more straight away. Lacey Evans taps on her plastic bosoms, so to speak. It just looked, I don't know, it looked really retarded, to be honest, this figure eight. They're almost popping out. Then Asuka comes in with her little grandma slippers, hits about the Charlotte Flair, misses her head, but connects right in the plastic bosoms. And then, what else happens here? Disaster. Just Asuka punching away on Charlotte. Just not looking forward to this match, man. I don't think anybody really is. But, well, I guess we got to move on to the next thing, which we have a look at Drew McIntyre making an appearance at the Special Olympics World Games. Is this really the best Drew McIntyre's got today with his time? Like, why is he no wrestling? Like, does he even have an injury? I know he had an injury at one point, but surely he's still not injured. Surely since Mania, like, it's been like 2 months. Almost 3 months. He must be alright these days, man, honestly. We then get Bianca Belair going to Adam Pearce backstage saying that she should be allowed to be ringside for next week. But then he says, no, you shouldn't, because we don't want any of the competitors getting distracted with you out there. So she gets barred. And it's like, what? When have this ever been a thing, man? And you know what? I actually feel hard done by for Bianca Belair. Now, I do not care about her, but from a storyline perspective, as she said, Charlotte Flair has jumped the line, jumped the queue, so to speak, and nothing's really been done about it, and now she's getting banned for a match. Just seems a bit ridiculous. I mean, would it not just make more sense to have a triple threat match? Yep, or maybe they're saving that for SummerSlam. I'm not too sure. We then cut backstage to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez laughing and giggling about how much they want the tag titles back. Like, what is this, a fucking joke? Like, see, back in the day, man, if the Dudleys, the APA, the Hardys lost the titles, then like a month later, would they be sitting laughing backstage? But we want them. No, they'd be like, we're going to fucking take these tables and ram them right up Edge and Christian's ass. I'm going to jump off a 35-foot ladder and cripple Edge and Christian. And Bradshaw, I'm going to bully them into submission. He would say something along those lines. And what do we get these days, man? Nothing. Absolute garbage. And then we have our main event, which is Sheamus against Solo Sikoa. I don't know if Vince McMahon changed this, but it's an alright match. Solo Sikoa's dominating. Ian does a massive, like, not spear, but the whole face, the ass buster. I don't know what you call it, man. When you run and you smack them in the face with your ass through the barricade, he then match gets called off. Don't know why it gets called off. That is a bit poor. But, who am I to question the referee So yeah, Sosako has left an absolute devastation at ringside. He's killed Sheamus. Sheamus is lying there dead, even though we've seen Sheamus go through way worse than this. So I don't understand why we're trying to make out that, oh, this is the worst Sheamus has ever seen. But then the Usos come out. Sosako is like fighting them off. Then eventually they get to him, a couple of super kicks again. I've buried the Young Bucks, so I've buried the Usos. Can they not? Can they not do more than these super kicks? I mean, at least for the Usos, they've actually got a bit of story behind them. But I would like a wee bit more personally than just super kicks. But it is what it is. Then the kick, Sosako down, and it's just like this guy's supposed to. He's Roman Reigns back every week when Roman Reigns is there, but Roman Reigns doesn't have his back, and it's like they don't even touch on that. Like, see if the Bloodline's family, then surely the rest of them have got a point when they turn around and say things like, "Here, well, you've just jobbed us clean out." That's exactly what Roman Reigns does. He's just letting his cousin here get absolutely battered, but what, we're just supposed to sit there and accept it. You know what? It was a SmackDown very devoid of any like sort of star power, but like no, like where's Edge? Where's AJ Styles? Nowhere to be seen. Drew McIntyre, I think he's on Raw now, but yeah, Edge, AJ Styles, no Reigns, just missing a lot of star power guys. But who am I to question the greatness of WWE? But was this the Vince McMahon problem? No, because I actually think the changes he made this show better. Does it actually make it a lot better? Will it get more than a 1 out of 10? No, it gets a 1 out of 10 for me. So anyway, guys, leave your thoughts down below, and peace.